He looks at you with those deep brown eyes. He follows you from room to room. He leans his weight against your legs while you make coffee. To you, it's a beautiful display of unconditional love. But to the canine mind, it's data. In the silent language of dogs, every physical contact is a communication of status and security. The question is, does your dog see you as the king of the pack, a source of direction and safety? Or have you unknowingly been demoted to a pillow, a comfortable, soft resource to be managed? Today, we are translating the canine mind. We're revealing the 7 psychological markers of true respect. And pay close attention to sign number 4. It's the one behavior almost every owner misinterprets as cuddling, when in reality, it's the ultimate test of who truly owns the room. Welcome to Thought Leash. Sign 1, the check in. Think about the last time you took your dog somewhere new. A trail, a park, a street they'd never sniffed before. Did they glance back at you? Not stop and stare, just a quick look over their shoulder every 30 seconds or so. Most people ignore it or assume it's about treats. But behavioral researchers describe this as a security feature, and it tells you something fundamental about how your dog has coded your role in their life. Your dog is using your face as a reference point for how to feel about whatever lies in front of them. They scan the environment, decide whether something feels threatening, and then look back at you to calibrate. A dog that checks in regularly isn't asking for permission. They're reading the signal. Your face is their forecast. They consult it the way you might glance at the sky before deciding how long to stay outside. A dog that never looks back is handling the world independently, and that's not inherently wrong. But it describes a different relationship than one built on a deep bond of trust where you've become the fixed point their entire nervous system orients around every time the environment feels uncertain. Sign 2. Threshold etiquette. Who goes through the door first? Not because of some outdated theory about dominance hierarchies. Modern animal behaviorists have moved well past that framework, but threshold behavior still reveals something true about where your dog's attention actually lives. A dog that explodes through every doorway ahead of you has their focus completely fixed on what comes next. A dog that pauses, checks on you, and waits before committing to the new space is showing you something meaningfully different. That pause isn't the product of obedience training, it's a habit of awareness. They're keeping you inside their picture even when something more interesting is sitting on the other side of that door. Does your dog wait at the threshold, or does your front door become a launching ramp the moment it opens? Pay attention to this one. Sign 3. The lean. Your dog walks over, presses their full body weight against your leg, and just stays there. Most people melt completely, and honestly, it does feel like pure affection. Part of it genuinely is, but the lean is doing 2 things at once. There's the warmth of closeness. Yes. And underneath that, there's spatial communication happening in a way most owners never notice. When your dog leans into you, they're orienting their body around yours. You become the fixed point in the room. They're using you to locate themselves, almost the way you might reach for a wall in total darkness. There's also a second version of the lean that tells a slightly different story. A dog leaning against you while loose and calm throughout their body is seeking closeness and comfort. A dog leaning while stiff, scanning the room, with ears pushed forward, is using you as a post because something in their environment feels uncertain. Both versions involve genuine trust, but they describe very different emotional states. Learning to read which one you're actually looking at tells you a lot about what your dog needs from you right in that moment. Sign 4, spatial pressure. This is the one. This is the signal most owners encounter every single day and interpret in completely the wrong direction. Your dog walks into the room. You're sitting on the couch. They don't wait for an invitation. They don't circle and look hopeful from across the room. They just move directly into your space. Maybe they plant themselves across your lap. Maybe they push their head under your arm until you lift it. Maybe they migrate slowly across the cushion until you've somehow ended up wedged in the corner and they've claimed the rest. You didn't feel the transition happen, but here you are. Most people read this as pushiness. Some call it a dominance behavior, A lot of well-meaning advice online will tell you to correct it and reclaim your space immediately, but modern canine science describes something entirely different. Physical closeness isn't a courtesy to your dog, it's the primary language of safety. Dogs are wired for bodily contact from their very first hours of life, pressing together for warmth and security, and that wiring never fully disappears. When your dog moves into your space without hesitation, without performing a whole routine to earn their spot, they're showing you something real. You're already safe. The invitation doesn't need to exist because the gap between your bodies never made much sense to them in the first place. The dog that sees you as their safe person doesn't linger at the edge of the room. They close the distance. That's not a power move. That's the highest expression of comfort they know how to give you. What does your dog do the moment you sit down? Do they come to you immediately or do they hold back until they're called? Drop their name in the comments and tell us what they do. Sign 5, response to calmness. Watch your dog closely the next time you go genuinely quiet, not tense and silent, actually still with slow breathing and a soft posture and nothing particular pulling your attention. Does your dog settle? Do they drop to the floor, exhale slowly, and stop scanning the room? Or do they stay restless, circling, looking for some kind of input from you? A dog that mirrors your calm has built their internal regulation around your energy. Your steadiness has become their signal that the environment is okay right now. When you slow down, they slow down. Your nervous system has effectively become their weather report, and they're checking it constantly. This dynamic can't be trained directly. It builds quietly inside the relationship over time through hundreds of shared moments your dog has cataloged without you realizing it. They've learned that your peace means safety, and they carry that knowledge in their body without ever being asked to demonstrate it. Sign 6, yielding. Here's something you can observe today without any special setup at all. Walk toward your dog while they're lying on the floor or stretched across the couch. Do they shift to make room for you, or do you automatically reroute around them without even thinking about it? Before you judge either response, understand what's actually being measured here. A dog that moves when you approach is staying attuned to your movement through shared space. They're tracking you. A dog that holds completely still isn't necessarily defying you. They may simply have never built the habit of keeping your movement inside their spatial awareness. But if your dog consistently holds their ground and you consistently reroute yourself around them, that pattern is worth noticing. Not because it signals something dangerous, but because it suggests your dog has stopped factoring you into their spatial decisions. The goal is a dog that's genuinely aware of you, not one that scrambles away in fear. There's a lot of space between those two descriptions, and the difference actually matters. What breed is your companion? Some breeds are naturally pillow-oriented and could honestly double as furniture. Others are hardwired to track every single move you make across every room of the house. Sign 7, sleeping proximity. Where your dog chooses to sleep relative to your body is one of the most honest signals available to you. A dog sleeping at your feet is often taking the guardian position. They've placed themselves between you and the entrance to the room. They're maintaining a low level of protective awareness, even while completely unconscious. A dog sleeping pressed against your back is practicing back-to-back contact, meaning they have your blind side covered and they're trusting you to cover theirs. These aren't random choices, they're expressions of modern pack instinct playing out quietly on your mattress every single night. A dog that consistently chooses another room, that prefers distance even when closeness was always an option, is a dog that hasn't yet fully decided you're their safe zone. That's not a permanent verdict. Bonds deepen over time. But every night your dog moves a little closer instead of away is a quiet statement. They're saying, this is where they want to be when they're most exposed and most themselves. Which of these 7 signs does your dog show the most? Write it in the comments right now. And if you want to understand what's actually happening when your dog presses against you at 2 in the morning or stares at you from across a dark hallway, watch our deep dive on why dogs sleep so close to us. It's right here. What you find there might completely rewrite everything you thought you already knew about them.